Platos Cave on WZZR, coming to you from Australia for Revolution Radio on Revolution.radio. That's right, the land down under. It's home to fresh ideas. Some of them are fresh, or recently aired out. They're somewhat uncensored. There's no such thing as complete non-censorship. Doesn't exist. Not possible. However, the conversations in the chat room are fun, so if you're there, go on. Just do it. Get in there and talk if you can, or just type if you want. It's all good. A very important part of the intro is that this is listener-funded radio, which means no one is supporting the station but you. So if you can donate, please do. We like the kind that falls, but we'll take the kind that jingles. And of course, crypto is fine. Any kind of money transfer, shekels of gold and silver, and that'll do. But maybe you can't, and that's okay too. Just tell people about the station and the shows. Tell them about your favorite show. If you're listening to this, you might have, hit the dial by mistake, or you like what you hear. If you do, tell people about it. Always nice to talk to a fan. It's been a while, but yeah, I'd really like to know who out there listens. So if you see us, just have a chat. You know what we look like, that is. Today is the 19th of September, 2023. You can catch the cave on the air, on the line, and onto your smart device. So grab an app to listen anywhere, or listen at home on a Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. An even more important reason to donate is there is the archives, which are free. Yes, the archives are free, and a really good reason. And I don't know what Dave just sent me, but it looks interesting. It looks like some kind of exploitation movie of the 60s, is what it looks like. Now, before we start broadcasting at you in anger, which we will do momentarily, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave, that's
the Dark and Junk.
Thank you, sir. And for myself, of course, the Dark people here in sweltering Pebbleway. And with that, we'd like to pay our respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Thank you very much. Indeed. Sweltering. And no, Dave is not away on Secret Men's business. He's here with us. He's thrown off his shackles, hasn't he? Haven't you?
Yeah.
Thrown them off.
Well, only the ones that I'd put on myself.
Yeah,
so not the government's shackles. I'm not wearing an anklet. Just saying.
Yes. Yeah. Well, don't talk too loudly. You're parole officer, man. Here.
That's
what? It's okay. No, I'm not a scientist, nor an engineer. Well, I guess I'm an engineer.
That was actually pretty good, wasn't it? What a compliment.
Yeah, that was. It was. I'm a computer engineer. Or at least that's where I started out, and before that I was many other things.
Wow, Hijacker is there. I haven't spoken to him for a long time. Hey, Hijacker, just a shout out to you, buddy.
I think Tramjar was there as well.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I think there was. I think they're wrong. I think I saw Tramjar. Yeah, there is. He's going to bed though, I think. Oh. Yes, but in another life, I would have probably stayed in academia in another life and pursued that career of scientist or academic. Probably in archaeology, I want to say, or cryptozoology, which is respected enough as a field. I would have liked to do that. There's no money in it, though, so didn't really go down that path. No, and Dave is a dyed-in-the-wool computer expert. I want to say, when I say computer expert, I'm actually talking about all the way down to the bits and bytes of it. The nitty-gritty bolts.
I think I've built
grease.
Everything.
Have you greased your computer recently, Dave? That's my question to you.
Do you know what's the funniest thing? Is I once worked at a place where the video card was held up inside the machine because it was so large and there was no clips by a small Cocoa Pops package. You know when you get the variety pack?
Yeah, no, I do.
It was one of those, and it wasn't even used.
Oh, sweet! Hey, now if there's a crisis, I can eat.
That's right.
My computer
I could have
and
put the
cereal.
machine on its side, and therefore there was no weight involved. But no.
That's hilarious. I tell you what, I went to this was I think it was a security company, and we were doing a deal or trying to win their business or whatever. And I went to the computer room. I go, so who knows this cabling regime, because it was a spaghetti salad.
It was Bird's Nesty.
Oh, there were things hanging by cables, like power supplies, out of the machines.
What?
Operational, mind you.
Oh yeah.
And you look around, you go, this room is a hazard in every sense of the word. I reckon there were live wires flipping about somewhere in the back. But yeah, look, yeah, hey.
Oh no, I got some more. Wait. So there was once I had to do a separation of a futures trader, because they'd written software themselves and they decided to sell the software off separately and create a new arm of the business to do that. But they wanted complete separation, so I had to duplicate things and get it, and which I did. Right, it was all good. There was a server that I had to transport like 4 buildings down the block on a wheeled trolley connected to a UPS, because if you turned it off, it blue screened.
Oh, nice.
And I go, I'll deal with the... Oh, no, you don't want to do that. That's really bad. Yeah, but it's got spinning discs and it's really bumpy. Are you sure you want to do that? Right? So anyway, once I got it in there and we racked it and it was still on, I screwed it into the rack and I just left. I go, now it's your problem. Good luck with that. Another company, this is funny, this is not IT related, but I think you'll understand the level of scientist, engineer, blue sky thinking. There was a coffee mug, resting against the wall where there was a small, like a coaster to sit it. That's the place it was always going to be. It wasn't anywhere else. It was right there, and it had above it, stuffed into the bricks, because they were exposed bricks, stuffed into the crevice between the bricks, a little home-fashioned roof that covered the top of the coffee mug. So when you put it in there, it was like parking in a garage. Right? And it was protecting it from... And I go, what's that for? And they said, oh, you don't... And someone else yelled, oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. Go, yeah, I do. I'm asking. And they said, the cockroaches here are so large and they live up in the ceiling. And there's a little gap, and I peered up and there's a little gap, that they'll push their poop out of the gap. And this is to stop the poop landing in the coffee. That's a true story. True story. And I don't... But, I've got to applaud the person for doing that. But how many... I've got to ask the question, which was never answered. It was never asked then, but I have to ask it now, just for our entertainment. How many coffees did they get to the bottom and go, what's that?
That looks like cockroach poop.
Maybe not at that point.
Maybe not. Maybe there was
I thought
nothing
I
to
had
get
a
to the bottom.
filter on my coffee when I made it. Well, what's that? That's a lot of gunk at the bottom. That's maybe too much, right?
It's gold. You know what that is? I like to call it gold.
That's Nescafe gold. That's what that is.
But what do you say to that? Because there are a million other solutions to this particular problem. We had said this is our solution. What? No, why? Why are you laughing? What? It's a viable solution.
Get a sippy cup.
Yes, and
drink from a straw.
And Cuba is a country. That's funny. But no, I don't want to hate on Cuba. It's all good. That's just, where do you go? Okay, see, but this is the thing, right? I recently started a new job in the same company.
Yeah. Just
a different assignment, and I was given a business plan from 5 years ago, right? And I looked at it, And I said to my boss, "Oh, well, at least we know why we are where we are. You've just given me the blueprint for failure here." Because I was asked him
goodness me.
to fix if I can. It's all good. And he didn't like that, which is fair. It's fair. It's fair, but I just couldn't help myself, because in that plan there were certain things that were undertaken, which led to the eventual.
It's a hindsight view. That's right.
It's always 20/20 in hindsight. This one though, you could have seen coming. It's like sometimes when you press the red button, you know what's going to happen next. It's like, do not press the red button. This one. That's it.
But don't press the red button.
But see, it's really funny. Look at the world, right? Because it's like obviously what we all do in our lives is a microcosm of the larger world, and trust me, whatever you do in your lives, whatever you experience in your life, whatever might come your way, it is reflected on every level, in every scale, on every possible permutation within the larger life, on a world scene, as it were. So if you think there's incompetence or funny things are happening in your life, I guarantee it, they are happening all the way up the chain. I will tell you something else. People get upset when I say Jeebus, right?
Sure.
But let's examine this.
Let's unpack it for a minute.
Let's do that. Let's what's it? It's a deconstructed apple pie. So it's just crumbles in a bit of mesh apple. Yes, a deconstructed apple pie. It'll silence you. No. Where's the ice cream? Deconstructed. Where we just have to add some cold later. Let's get some cold. No. Okay, so people get upset because everybody calls Jesus. Right? They think, oh, well, that's his name. Well, it's not his name. I bet you $1 billion that Jesus' name was not Jesus. What are you talking about, Mikey? You're talking the crazy talk again. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, so the gentleman that we speak of was of Jewish extraction, a Hebrew, as it were, in Palestine, no less. And Hebrew names didn't end in U.S. Roman names did.
Oh.
Marcus, Paulus, Titus, Gaius, all those, Augustus. It denoted the male gender, and if it ended in an A, it was a female. Because that's right. Incontinent maxima.
Do you think there's something funny about my name?
With my very good friend here. 17th Arathenian strength. No. So it's the Romanized version of whoever this person was, Jesus. His name was probably Joshua or Yeshu or something like that. Okay, just to be clear. So me calling him Jeebus is the same as you calling him Jesus. Not his name. I don't care how many people are saying it. It's the thing. Just because people keep saying the same thing doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
It's just either, it's like, it just doesn't work that way. Oh, but everybody says it, Mikey. Oh, well, I guess the sky is purple. Fine. It's raining cheese again. It's raining cheese.
Don't look up.
Okay, so it is not disrespectful when I say Jeebus. And it's not disrespectful when Homer Simpson said Jeebus, because
that's right.
It's as good an approximation of the original name as Jesus. Okay, so you can put that in your pipe and smoke it if you like.
Or, of course, Jesus is another way of saying it.
It's also the Romanized, to be clear, right? So that's I just get upset when people don't understand things. I find this most upsetting. I don't care if I'll be honest with you, Dave. I don't care what you believe. I mean, we all live in this cave, right? And we all have been taught certain things, and we all, get through life in our own way. I dig it. That's cool. No issue with that, right? And then people say, "I believe this and I believe that." And they really, quite strongly and vehemently defend their position. But okay. But at least know what you're talking about. Know what if you say you're XYZ, okay, cool. What does XYZ mean? Oh, what do you mean it means? What? Don't stop hating on me. I'm not hating. I want to know why you're putting on this explosive vest and you're going to blow yourself up in the name of something, but you don't know why that is. Why do you do that? And where does it say that you should do that exactly? Or alternatively, so you've just killed millions of people or tried to convert them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't, believe the same thing that you do. So explain to me exactly what it is that you actually believe that you killed all these millions of people for in the Great Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So, who again? What now? And the thing is this: most people don't know. It's really quite astounding. Now, they have a complete misconception. This American comedian, I forget his name now. He's an atheist. He's funny though, and he's I think he's Jewish, but I can't remember. But he's really, really funny. So he does these documentaries. His name escapes me. You will know. You know him, Dave. You know him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he did this thing on religion, right? He traveled around the United States. He traveled around the United States interviewing religious people, if you will. And there was this guy who was, I guess, a Baptist or revivalist. I can't remember, down south. Very well dressed, and bling and all kinds of things. And so, like a really well-to-do kind of guy. And the guy goes, Bill Mayer. I think it's Bill Mayer. I want to say Bill Mayer. That's what I'm talking about. M-A-H-E-R, Bill Mayer. And so he asked him, so you know that Jesus was poor, right? He preached poverty in the Bible. And the preacher goes, no, he didn't. What? No, he didn't. He was dressed in the finest garments with gold and silver. He was king of the Jews, the preacher said. And Bill Mayer says, no, he wasn't. He was the son of a carpenter, at least according to the Bible, right?
That's
right.
right.
No, he wasn't. Yes, he was. He was a king, and he was dressed in the finest silks and damask, and there were diamonds in his ears and all kinds of things. No, says Bill, but the guy wouldn't stop, and clearly, so this is a preacher that's on the pulpit every day, asking people to send him money and talking about great Jesus and all that, and he thinks that he was dressed in the finest clothes and hung with the best jewelry, just like he is, because God needs to look rich, he said. God needs to look rich and well-to-do. And that's when Bill gave up. Bill Mayer said, okay,
you can't.
What can I do here? This is
Well, it's comedy gold. That's what it is. Yeah. It's comedy gold too.
Which means, of course, that the guy never cracked the Bible open in his life.
No.
It's never.
Why, Mickey, when you can make all this money,
It's a book,
great.
right?
Yeah, it's right. Just a book. Right? When someone carries on like a pork chop like that, right? And because this is Plato's cave, do you know what you do? You just say, can you sit down so I can keep watching the shadows? Maybe you should look.
Maybe.
You know what? I think The Simpsons should talk about it the best. Yeah, I knew a guy, long hair, sandals. Hey, Marge, what was that guy's name? He lived 2 doors over, right? 2 streets over.
He's a troublemaker. Instigator. No disrespect. In fact, since we are on the topic, Dave, you brought it up.
Here we go.
No, I didn't. I didn't bring up anything. You haven't taken a breath for the last 10 minutes. No. What it is that the message that the historical Jesus, had for all of us, is not at all reflected in any church that I've come across in recent times. Not a one. Not one. Not one. The last time his message was, I guess, adhered to as best as he gave it was during the time of the Cathars in the Languedoc region of France. That's when I came across it for the last time, where people they were perfectly living in poverty. Like I guess similar to Buddhists or Taoists, even Hindu priests that have nothing, and they just depend on others to feed them, really, to be honest, in the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. And you go to any church today, any mosque if you want, any synagogue, they're not poor places. They're never really poor places. They're places. The places are designed to leave you feeling in awe, or to force upon you a certain reverence, which in my mind is it's a fake approach, because either you have it and you feel it, or you don't. If you need building and fineries and the whole rigmarole to feel that, then you've kind of missed the point. And that's what I find upsetting there. I just wanted to tell you what I found upsetting. That's all.
Well, Mackie, we're old enough to remember the heady times of evangelists on TV and their glass pyramid. Remember that? I forget who it was. A husband and wife team that I think were found guilty for something, right? I don't know, embezzling, or I don't know what they were doing, but there was they were the you must give all your money. I'm paraphrasing. I didn't say that, right, for comedic purposes, but their entire persona was based purely on the gaining of money, not the perpetuation of scripture. That's all it was. Baby. The whole thing was just a marketing adventure to earn money, and they had so much money because they turned to television to increase their listenership or their viewership, and those people donated. And it's one of those miracles, Mackie, of the United States, where here you'd need 30% of the nation to support you to make that kind of dollar, right? That kind of coin.
Oh yeah.
But over there, it's like 0.01% of the population, and you're absolutely just swimming in money.
You're right.
All of those little, I started one store, and I have a chain of stores across the US, and they're driving Lamborghini, right?
Lamborghinis.
Yeah, if you do a chain store here, you'd be lucky to keep it running.
If the people say if you go to America and fail in the business, you can still walk away a millionaire.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Because the market is. I mean, you've got 350 million people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And one of the highest GDPs in the world, with a fairly large per capita income as well. So it's a good place to fail. China is getting that way, to be honest. It's soon enough. China has got a massive market. I mean, if you look at all the things that we use, Google and Amazon, and you look at their stuff like Huawei and Alibaba, it dwarfs the profits that Apple and Google make.
Trying to lift everyone to
phenomenal.
At least be in the middle class, right? Trying to lift everyone so they 100%. Have disposable money is really what you're looking for. If you want to run the perfect financial system, you want everyone in the middle. Mm-hmm. You don't want poor because they've got nothing. And you don't want rich because they pay nothing.
Absolutely.
Right? The bubble in the middle is the best. But the West has done nothing but evaporate that middle, because who needs them, right? We don't need them. And if you look at the crises we're in, I think it says everything. Oh, I'm just looking in the wrong direction, aren't I, Mickey? I'm going to put my rose-coloured sunglasses back on.
You're looking all over the place, and you need you get your jet black sunglasses.
Ah, yes.
Ultra black. I've got my ultra black sunglasses. Nothing worries me.
Not anymore.
Yeah, look, it's if you looked at the news. It's just funny. Funny in many ways.
All right.
Musk is now making Twitter, and you have to pay for Twitter, which will kill it faster than the plague. It will. Oh, there was an 18-story skyscraper on fire in Khartoum.
Nice.
Yeah, and guess what?
What?
It didn't collapse.
It's not going to do that.
No.
No,
Didn't.
don't
Khartoum,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Sudan, sorry, I should say that.
Oh,
Didn't collapse.
well, that's why.
No, on fire, a lot. I mean, it was quite bad fire. Yeah. Also, apparently there's now a video out, believe it or not, alien autopsy. Those viral non-human corpses get dubious lab tests. So, I mean, I think it's still, for me, this is still the story of the week, maybe the story of the month, where NASA gives us nothing and the Mexicans give us two allegedly non-human bodies. I think that's. I mean, you couldn't ask for greater contrast in the same week, could you? I mean, it's just not possible.
It's like, here you go. No,
yeah,
they
well,
don't
here, no, get
exist.
aliens. Nah.
What about
we
these
need more
ones?
funding. We don't have enough
Nope.
evidence. No.
Initially,
But you know what it puts me
do you
in
know
mind
what-
of?
it-
It puts me in mind
Mickey,
of.
wait. Initially, NASA had said that they weren't going to name the investigator and shut down every single one of
Yes.
the questions on it, only to just hours later, after the meeting concluded, oh, here's the guy's name. Here it is, press release.
Secret. Get in there. But look, it reminds me of the Star Child skull.
Yeah.
In my mind, okay, it's my opinion only. In my mind, one of the best pieces of physical evidence we've ever come across. Now, we were lucky enough to talk to Lloyd Pye and then his wife, who told us that they are no longer in charge of the skull.
Yeah.
Another group is, and they've completely shut it down. They've shut it down. It's nothing. From the preliminary analysis, and quite a bit of testing had gone into it. Forget all the genetic stuff. Forget the genetic stuff. Just out the window. Okay, just it's not out the window, but just let's just focus on the physical attributes of that skull, for example. I mean, since we've got aliens now in little glass coffins, the structure of the bones, if you can call them that, were completely different from normal bone structures. It was more like enamel. Okay, it was a lot thinner than a human skull, the skull wall, and it was a lot stronger. And it had, I guess, reinforcing fibers running throughout, where it became really, really hard to cut pieces off it for testing, because even with a diamond saw, it was quite a bit of work. Right?
And that's because the bones themselves not only were bones, but they had a lot of estrogen, which is what creates teeth. And the tooth is stronger than the bone. So it was like it was made of the same material as teeth.
And similarly... Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. And similarly to the skulls, the elongated skulls, the ones that weren't just cradle boarded, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actual skulls. The attachment points for the jaw were different to humans, or to normal Homo sapiens, I should say. Which doesn't... See, you can cradle board a skull or change a skull as much as you want. The attachment points or the ratios and the geometric proportions stay Homo sapiens. It's just how it is. Okay?
Also, the suture marks of the plates growing back together again after birth, that differed greatly as well, and the connection point of the the spine, it was in a different location.
So,
yeah,
and that is something that no amount of human intervention could actually do, short of killing the person that it's being done to, right? But then there would be no chance actually for this person to grow in that way, as they clearly did. Now, I like to, since just to very quickly, because we are in the cave at the moment, that there are two sets of phenomena that are usually discussed. Okay, one is the real phenomenon, and the other is the fake. There are absolutely skulls that were cradle boarded, 100%. You can tell, right? You can tell. And there are skulls that weren't. There are crop circles that were made by people, 100%. But there are also crop circles that were not made by people. And people never really look at the finer explanation or the detail. And this is really where we come in, Dave. This is our job.
Yeah.
And you will find that there are marked differences neither, but because the fake is there, this is the problem, right? Because the fake is there, everything is fake, right? If they say, oh, this UFO footage is fake, and they can prove it's fake, then all UFO footage is fake. Now, we know that's not true anymore, but that's the attitude people use.
That's the way it was 5 years ago, right?
Or, if they find something, if they find something odd in a strata that is millions and millions, or tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of years old that shouldn't be there, like tools or human bones, and they can point to one that's a fake, they're all fake. And that's really the approach that was taken. And most of the things that weren't fake have been taken away. They just disappeared. And you ask yourself, well, where are these artifacts? They talk about them, 100 years ago, 150 years ago. People found them. People, had them in their hand. Then what happened? What happened? They were taken away to the Smithsonian? I don't know. To the Vatican Library? Who knows? I don't know. And then you've got these experts telling you what the real story. There are not terribly many things I'm passionate about, I guess, but the ones that I am passionate about, I feel an obligation to just be, to compel us to do better. We are so easily led astray. We are so easily blinded, Dave. Oh, he's an expert. Oh, jeez. Oh, he went to Harvard, you see. Oh. He's a Yale man. Oh, she's a Princeton lady. Yes. Where did you go to school? and whenever those people from those really prestigious institutions don't toe the party line, they become florists. That's what they do. Florists. But I find it upsetting. I really do, because what they're doing is they're telling us they think we're stupid. Well, you're stupid. You will listen to the expert. You will listen to me. Okay? And I will bamboozle you with a whole bunch of words and acronyms, okay, which are not necessary, by the way, just to be clear. Okay? A lot of the terms used by scientists are deliberately designed to confuse you. I mean, did you learn Latin in school? Right? I mean, so most of the biological and otherwise scientific names are in Latin or Greek, they come up with these formulas and acronyms, and a normal person that doesn't do that every day, this is not your job, so you don't look at these things all day long. They're completely left out in the cold because no one is explaining it properly. Okay? And I always come back to the most astounding experiment that we've ever conducted, I believe, as a human race, is the double slit experiment. If you get somebody that understands it, explain it to you, takes you through it, right? You're in awe. You're in, oh my goodness, wow, why is that? Because there's a certain way that you can present something that encourages thought and question. And then there's the way where you just go, look, it's a wave and a particle. Just remember that.
That's right.
Well, how can it be two things? And it doesn't matter. It just is, okay? It's like when we're in Bible study. It just is. It's ineffable, okay?
It's ineffable. There you
go. Learn your catechisms. And two Hail Marys, and off you go.
Call me in the morning.
No,
that's it.
Because science is not that. Science is not blind faith. It really isn't. But for the longest, certainly, again, school. Who said this? I want to say Isaac Asimov. I could be wrong, but I think he said it. But I know it was he said, school doesn't teach you anything. The real education begins when you start teaching yourself. School is only good for teaching you how to, read and get knowledge yourself. That's pretty much it. Everything else you have to find yourself. And I think it was Asimov, but I could be wrong. So I do apologize for misquoting Asimov. And I agree. Most of the things that I learned, apart from my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, the meaty stuff, I had
counting.
I can do it. I can do it all the way up to the 5s. That's how many fingers as I have on the one hand. Fingers is, look at them. And the thing is, this was brought home to me. I spoke about this a couple of years ago when my eldest daughter came to me and said, "What's the biggest number?" And I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, we're counting all this, but what's the biggest number?" Because she was thinking about numbers, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "We don't know." "What do you mean?" "Well, we don't know what the biggest number is." Okay, you can say infinity, but it's meaningless. It has no meaning. We can say infinity, but we don't understand it, right? It's just a word. And I said to her, we don't know what the biggest number is. Just, really? I said, "Is it 1,000?" I said, "No, it's not 1,000. 1,000,000. No, it's always bigger. It doesn't, once you start counting, you never stop." And she looked at me and goes, "Oh, okay." So, but she was like, I don't know, 7 or 6 or whatever. So, but I'm glad that she asked me, right? And not some Muppet teacher. So it's, the biggest number is 500 gazillion million. Yes. Oh, really? Yeah. And to make a child, because a child is they can take it. It's like a sponge, right? They can take the knowledge, and it is your responsibility if you have children or if you are around children to not lie to them. That's your responsibility. Don't lie, ever. What was it? The rabbits.
Yeah. Too many rabbits in China.
Yeah, say if you don't know something, that's cool. Then maybe make a game out of finding out together.
Yeah,
make
that's right.
Game. Oh, let's a little project for the weekend or whatever, right? And you shouldn't be afraid that you don't know. It's okay not to know. Nobody knows everything, and only a fool. See, this is the truth. Is this a fool will say everything with absolute certainty, without a doubt, without a self-doubt. A fool will go and just sprout with not a doubt in his brain. Whereas the smart guy, the smart girl, they're full of self-doubt. It was actually a case at work. Smart engineer, smart guy. I mean, all the certifications you can ever imagine, but a true engineer at heart. So when he was asked the question, he goes, "Oh, I'm not sure." So he was sort of uncertain and didn't want to give the wrong answer, essentially, right? And I said to him, we had a coffee, and I said, "No, forget it. Don't do this. Say what do you believe the best answer is, and just say it with conviction, because that's what people want. People want someone to have confidence. Say, yeah, this is what it is, and if it isn't, you know what, you're going to fix it. They don't want someone that comes up with the right answer, but doesn't sound confident, and it might take too long. So you have to project. This is for everybody out there in the world. Project confidence, and say whatever you think the best answer is, and stick to it. And if it changes, then change with it. That's okay. But don't ever let them catch you sweat.
Yeah.
Not ever. And Dave, you know this. You know
I
this
know
well.
this.
You're dealing with interesting people all day long, I'm sure.
That's right. Yeah, no, totally. And look, I've always discovered for me, it's decisions. So make a decision, but be willing to change your mind on the decision. It's not about owning a particular viewpoint, but for me, rather, it's making a decision and being able to change your position on it. It's like turn left. Oh, well, that's not going very well. Okay, turn right. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Fail
actually
early.
denotes a very high sense of intelligence.
Just fail early.
To be able to do that,
yeah,
it takes a lot, and not everybody can do it. So well done.
That's what I always say. That's one of my interview questions. And well, see how it goes for anyone else, right? So what was that? What's that? Takeshi's Castle? Is that the right name? It was a TV show, Japanese TV show.
The movie.
Well, no, there's a TV show where a bunch of contestants nearly maim themselves with all these adventures they've got to go through, and one of them is
the Japanese game show. Right.
And one of these is when they're running at full speed at a row of doors, and each door is separated from each other, and you've got to, with conviction, to beat the time that someone else might have done. You have to absolutely run at it like your life depends on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the door is a solid wall. And you watch them bounce, their bodies bounce off it, breaking stuff. Who knows, right? That to me is that conviction that someone has, determined that their answer is correct and won't let up on it. Even proved to be wrong, they'll still try the door after they've just bounced straight off it. And it's like, what, really? I used to watch the show with intent. It's kind of like Wipeout. I like Wipeout just for taking my brain out and leaving it on the table next to me and watching it for fun.
Uh-huh.
And the near disasters that everyone has. I'm sure they sign waiver after waiver after waiver to get on the show, and then they're there and they to do their best with it. I like that, but see, the point is, whether it's in your private life or whether it's in at work, in business, don't lie. But I think Meki's advice is pretty strong. I'm just going to say, maybe use mine. Just be able to make a decision or make a choice, and always be willing to change. But what we don't see, Meki, taking it back to the show, like this so far, what we've spoken about, when you've got someone with tenure in a role where they're curator of a museum and they're unwilling to change their viewpoint despite mountains of new information that should certainly have guided them towards accepting that something is a thing, and rather than dismissing it. Those people Meki and I have spoken about in the last probably 30 years about closing the textbook, and I don't need to learn anything else. There's nothing else I can know. I know it all. In fact, if there was going to be another book, it would be my book that would be written, and I know everything. And that's the way some of these people behave. And that's why it takes so long to get anything new into our sciences, or for that matter, it used to be religion, which was the one that was immovable. Galileo, good luck with that. Oh, the Earth isn't the center of the universe. You're going straight to Satan.
Burn him now.
Burn him.
The expressway to hell.
The matches are wet. I don't know, use accelerant, whatever, right? Whatever it takes. So the disappointing part of what we're seeing right now, and I think there are scientists now coming around, those who used to immediately deny that UFOs were even possible, because, why, Meki? They must have come from light years away, right? And why would they come here? What's the point? Why do that? What, to crash this spaceship? Right? Surely they could fly it all that distance without crashing it. And then they say, but it would take thousands of years to come here. Maybe 1 million years. Who's going to do that? And one of those things, Meki, that prevented people from accepting it, the possibility, they'll accept that there's probably life out there, most probably life, or maybe even there should definitely be life out there because we can't be the only ones. That's a plausible position to take.
So, 100%. No argument from me. But again, it is. Okay, you know how it works, Dave. People like to rally behind people that take strong positions, right? That's why in times of crises, like now, for example, people flock to extremists. And I don't mean extremists in bomb throwing. I'm talking about extremists of thought. Right? They like people that are, I guess, black and white. They dumb it down for everybody. I can follow that. if I can follow it, I can understand it. If I can understand it, I feel a little bit better about myself. I feel a little bit better. I don't feel so left out, and I don't feel like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, this guy. Plus, they might be saying what I want to hear. So a lot of these people pander.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They pander. Why do they pander? Well, because it works.
It's a learned experience.
It works. Come on. And confirmation bias. We spoke about this a lot. It's what the cave thrives on. I agree with him. What he said. Inherited opinions, as Dave always puts.
Yeah. What did he say? I don't remember right now, but it was probably right.
Yeah. And I always.
Yeah.
My favorite is really, we were having this massive troll battle on, I want to say Facebook. I think it was Facebook.
Right.
And we're going on and on and on. And eventually, this person sends me the link. There, that's it. That's my final thing. Here you go. So I'll go to the link. I read all the way through the link, all of it, right? So right to the end. And I say to him, well, your link just proved my point. Did you actually read the link?
But the headline, Mickey, the headline.
The headline, yeah, that's right. The link agrees with me, buddy, but thank you for... It's the funniest thing. I mean, people just throw stuff at you. They don't even bother reading it. Because they hope, I guess, or maybe not hope. Mm-hmm. I guess they just expect you not to read it either. And, it's just a lot of reading here. Oh, fair enough. There's a lot of reading here, so you probably read it, and I'm probably wrong, so I won't question you any further. But I got to tell you something. I'll read it. So that's what's going to happen.
And that definitely happened. And then the defriending came through.
Followed quickly afoot. Whoosh. I had two people that I know that befriended me. The other one was a journalist, which I had known as a child back in Germany, and we just talking, just a little chat on Facebook, and I said, "Oh, listen, you being a journalist, surely you also are a little worried about the concentration of media ownership." And he goes, "What do you mean?" Well, it used to be that hundreds of different entities used to own the media, the newspapers and radios and TV stations, etc., and so it was probably a lot more diverse, the news landscape back in the day. And now there's like 5 or 6 corporations that own most of the news media in the world. And he goes, "That's not a problem." I said, "What?" And then I said, "Well, but look at who owns them. Clearly they have certain agendas that they would want to represent it in their media." And I was defriended faster than you can say, "Defriend!" And I thought, wow, maybe he was afraid for his job, or maybe he was part of the whole thing. I really don't know. Well, it's just odd.
When I remember one of the arguments, Mickey, was because, everyone's just saying the same thing. And shortly after that, in a number of years, shortly after that, we saw that it's not really a montage. It's a clip video of all of the media outlets propagating the same message. Do you remember? It starts with one team saying these words.
But it was word for word. It was word
for word. That's right. And then not only was it one screen, then they split that to 4, and then that went to 16, and it just kept doing that until the screen had all these little tiny TVs on it, and all the audio was joined together as one. It was wow.
Yeah. No, but look, you're right. It was funny, right?
Yeah.
But then you started thinking about it. You go, "Oh, this is actually frightening." It's funny and frightening. And you know what the bad thing is these days, Dave? They have now come to a point where the deep fakes. Right?
Mm-hmm. I saw a thing on this week. Yeah.
Unless you're like an expert in digital imagery and media, and you have the latest equipment and a lot of processing power, it will become impossible for a regular person, like a person, you or me, whatever, to actually tell the difference, or to know when there is a deep fake. We just can't tell anymore. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's hackers right now. Well, let's call them just people working against your best interest, for their interest against your best interest. That's probably the best way of putting it, because I'm covering a very large swath here, right? They're using AI to swindle people out of money now. And through all sorts of different mediums, they're able to convince you that they're somebody that they aren't. They could even do a live video with you.
Yes, yes.
A live video,
Talking.
and it could
Everything.
be a look and sound like someone that you know and would trust and would give money to.
Yeah.
A friend in need.
That's just nuts. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. It's that turning point, Mackie, where we're at that, what was that, the Running Man?
Yeah, absolutely.
With
but see, when they replaced everything, and 100%. And then he said, I don't want to shoot them, but in the video that they played, I'm going to shoot them. You can't tell me what to do.
That's right.
That's amateurish compared to what we can do today.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a frightening scenario. And the thing is this: how would you defend yourself against that? I mean, I'm not saying he's guilty, he's innocent, but Russell Brand has just been accused of some heinous crimes, right? Now, he is probably one of the greatest instigators and troublemakers out there at the moment, right? He's going against the system, all kinds of things. So I understand why he's a target. I get it. Now, but like I said, I don't know if he's guilty or not. But the point is this: in this kind of scenario, how would you ever defend yourself? How
That's
could
right.
you? If somebody has got the resources to create evidence against you,
Oh, totally! You're not getting out of that. You're just at the behest, I suppose, of whoever wishes to do wrong.
yes,
There's no escape.
nope. But that's actually terrifying.
Yeah, so I had a conversation. I know we've only got 4 minutes, but I had a conversation with a guy at work today who was quite adamant that whilst questioning AI, he was quite adamant that we're going to be successful with it and everything's going to be great. Not me and him or as a company, but the world will be, it'll be fine, right? Everything's going to be fine. A lot of Kool-Aid right there.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, and I tried to, through very, very slight conversation leaning, because I didn't want to upset. I really don't want to upset people, Mackie. I really don't. I don't want to do it. It's not me.
That ship has sailed, my friend. Sorry.
I know. But look, I don't want to do it. It's not part of my makeup to do that.
Right, no, I understand.
That's what I meant, and I think that your joke was really funny. We'll chat after the show. But the point at which I think people are failing to see where it could go is that the media isn't hanging on those messages at all. Apart from hackers or bad people can use it for their own purposes. Well, anyone can use it for their own purposes. That shouldn't be stopping anyone from doing anything. The real issue is if the big four stop producing AI, no one else will stop.
Yes.
So it's the race to the dominant AI. I mean, the dominant one, the one that will take out all of the other AIs on its own without prompting, that becomes our new lord and controller. I love the AI.
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm going to say.
Yes.
That one, the one that we most trust by the most reputable brand of whoever it is the most dangerous. And I was trying to say it without saying those words at all, because it's like shaking someone and saying, "Did you know your EV is only half as polluting as a Ford Ranger?" And don't be stupid. I don't make any carbon. No, you've outsourced it, right? So just shush. So it's very difficult to have. You can't slap someone awake and tell them that the thing that they've just been drinking, all the Kool-Aid that they spent $90,000 to buy, is the same price as a Ford Ranger, that is better. How are you going to tell them it's better? They already know. They know their vehicle is better. They drive it with smog. We'll see weather forecast with smog pollutants now, right? Like South Park. Anyway, I'm going to hand it back to you, Becky.
No, look, I think today was a mixed bag. Just reflecting on it, a few things that bothered both Dave and I guess, which came to light. And but again, I think the key message is that it's really hard to ascertain what is true and what is not. Right? I mean, what is actually going on? How do we? Yeah, it's a tough gig. How do you not get fooled? Right? How are you going to vote when it comes to that? What are you going to do? And how are you going to do it? And who are you going to listen to? Who are the people that you trust? That's the music. Well, you got to figure that out for yourselves, everybody. This has been Plato's Cave. Thank you so much for allowing us into your lives, albeit ever so briefly. There will be something coming up, so don't touch that dial button, mouse click, whatever you're doing. And most of all, be safe.